Hey, welcome to Suave Sassy Seniors with Sonya. I'm so excited to be filming another epic episode. Now, before we get started, I have to talk about we're in our studio. We're forming out the studio. So let me take a bow so you can see the epic sign behind us. So for all my people who saying Sonya can't spell epic because she's spelling it with the K, just let me be crystal clear here. That's intentional. Everything that I do, I live with intentionality. And I am so unique and so epic that I chose intentionally to spell epic with the K. I choose to be different. I don't follow the trail. I make my own trail. I'm a trailblazer. And today, this is so great. In my new studio, I have a trailblazing dentist. We have so much in common. She is so amazing. And I'm so honored to have her on our show today. Her name is Dr. Alisa. Now, we only have a few 20 minutes to talk. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her in and let's get started with Suave and Sassy Seniors with Sonya. Welcome, Doc. Welcome. How are you, Dr. Alisa?
I'm so honored to be here, and I think I'm a sassy senior.
Well, Doc, how old are you?
I just turned 60 in December. Yeah,
Well,
60. It's a
you
big number.
you look amazing. Thank you for being on our show today. Now,
Thank
Doc,
you.
you are what they call the geriatric house call dentist. Talk about it.
I chose to just do the senior population who are homebound and can't get out. I've limited my practice to just going to people's homes, which is very different from people who advertise to be mobile dentists, because usually that means that they go in a van. But if you could get in a van, then you probably could get to an office. And always going to an office is number one, right? But
Right.
I chose to work on these people because otherwise they're underserved. It's an
Yes.
underserved population. What are they supposed to do if they're 95 years old, can't get out of the bed for whatever reason? There's tons of reasons. And they have a toothache. What do you do? In fact, you might notice that there's marks on my face because before we got together for this interview, I had to run out and see 100-year-old lady walked, talked,
Thank you.
smiled, laughed, and needed an extraction, but unfortunately was on a blood thinner, and I have to go back there on Monday. But I mean, how else could she have gotten out? She can't get out of her house. So I love
Doc,
what I do. I love what I do, Sonia.
Doc, let me say this too, so the audience can get a idea of what's going on. Doc, you're actually located in New York,
Right.
right?
Right.
And that was one of the hardest hit place for our elders. So thank you so much for what you're doing. Now, Doc, you wrote a book, right?
I wrote a book.
Can you tell us a little bit? Show us your book.
Okay, so it's not a book for the general public. I could write a book on dirty old man stories and how all the things that happen to me when I work on dementia patients. That could be another whole book. But this book is meant for people who are either very young in their career and want to have their own practice from the minute they graduate from dental school, all the way to I just sold my practice, I'm retired, but hey, I could still make a couple bucks. How to become a house call dentist. And basically, this is what I look like on the street with my bag. I usually have more bags than that, but for the picture, I did that. And
Right.
it's literally a recipe book. Every product I use, how much it costs, every procedure that I do or don't do, what not to do, what to do, everything but what to charge, because every area has their own charges. And I'm excited to say, Sonia, that we can have hygienists go out in the community. All I have to do is go examine them and say, you need to have a pro fee or scaling, whatever it is, to clean your teeth. And I hired a hygienist, and then COVID hit. And unfortunately, it wasn't the right timing for her. And she just emailed me yesterday that let's get going. Let's start in like October, November. So I could then service so many more people, because a lot of people just want their teeth clean. They're 99 years old. all right, they have something happening in their mouth, but they're leaving it alone. But at least now I can serve more people. So that's exciting.
That is, and see, Doc, that's what I do. I
I
have
know.
I have a mobile unit that goes to the nursing homes, and we actually take stuff into the nursing home, even though we have a van, but we do not use the van unless it's some sort of complicated extraction. We do carry everything in, but also we have local where we go to people's homes. And we go in the homes and people, we have an app where they can, you know, or call us kind of like a Uber. So it works
Yeah.
great. So I understand the complexities to serving seniors in their homes, especially during COVID-19. Now, let me ask you something, Doc. You also specialize in patients with dementia,
Right.
and you use different products that you like to hold the mouth open. Talk about that a little bit, because
Okay.
that takes a special care.
Okay.
That's not normal dentistry. People
Okay.
think that anybody can see any dentist, but geriatric oral care is special dentistry. It takes a special person and it takes special training. Am I correct, Doc?
Correct. And one of the questions on my questionnaire, so if you go to my website, Geriatric House Call Dentistry, there's a free resource manual for oral care.
Go there.
Okay, so it says free caregiver's guide to oral care. You can click on that to learn how to clean your loved one or the one you're caring for's dentures, how to brush teeth, what happens if you see blood when you brush. But the tool that you're talking about is my godsend. And this is the only thing on the market right now. And I'm going to open it and I'm going to demonstrate it. So it's made of a foam block that's very hard to bite. And believe it or not, I've had patients bite through it. I'm going to put it in my mouth. I'm going to show you how to use it because caregivers need to use this in order to brush the teeth. Because, you know, one thing Sonya and I have in common, and we've had conversations about this, is when we go into a home or a nursing home and we see that pink sponge, we want to kill someone, because that little pink sponge that you get from the hospital is meant to keep the mouth moist. You dip it in the ice and you keep the lips. That is not a way to clean your teeth. So
And Doc, stop right there, Doc. Let me say this. I've known of people to aspirate that. And that gets in their lungs and that can kill someone. It does not clean teeth. So go ahead, Doc.
okay, it's like clean your sink with it, okay? Throw them out. So this is the only thing on the market right now. It's a foam block with a wooden stick. So what I do is the dementia patients, or even without dementia, like if they have ALS and they can't open very wide, if I could get it in their mouth like this.
Yeah.
The problem with this
Is that
is
stick.
that the stick breaks.
And then you got a problem.
And then you have a problem, right? And it
You have a
happens all the time.
situation. You have to put your fingers in at that point.
Oh my gosh. Well, here's the thing.
But Doc,
35 years I've been practicing.
uh-huh.
35 years I've never been bitten. October of last year,
Uh-huh.
had a caregiver holding the head, the wife holding the stick, and I was just cleaning his teeth. I wasn't doing an extraction or anything difficult. And he went, ah! And she pulled it out and he bit my entire fingernail off. First time and only time in 35 years. So I invented something like this, but you cannot turn it. And once it's in the mouth, you can't do that.
That's right.
It's a huge investment to keep not just dementia, but Parkinson's, ALS, all forms of Alzheimer's. And not only that, when you're old, you can't help it. You close your mouth. So if you have a product like this and you're a caregiver, you put this in, you put it on one side, you put it on the other side, you are able to brush effectively, because the reason why older people get cavities is because they don't brush well and they don't brush around the gum line. The food lays there, the food lays there, the food lays there until you get decay. And then you get pain, and then it's a whole cascading problem until you end up getting all your teeth extracted. So if you're older, drink a lot of water. Even me, 60, my mouth gets dry at night. I am looking for the best product to recommend to my aging population. So Sonya, you're going to help me out with that. You told me after we get off, you're going to introduce me to the products that you recommend, because I trust you. You're a hygienist. I'm a dentist. And let me tell you something. If you need your teeth cleaned, it's always best to go to a hygienist. I mean, I do it because I have no choice. Can't wait for my hygienist, and I'm pretty darn good. By the way, in the 80s, guys, when I got my first job, I was hired as a hygienist. They told me, if you do a good job doing hygiene, we'll let you do dentistry. And that's why I pretty much started my practice right away, because I'm a boss lady. No one's I'm going to be cleaning teeth after I
went to dental school. That's right.
I mean, I went to University of Pennsylvania, where, believe me, you didn't graduate if you didn't know how to do your job. So
you put the time in, Doc. You earned that, and you want to
earn that. I earned that, and I think dry mouth causes a lot of things, as Sonia's probably talked about endlessly on her podcasts and webinars. But dry mouth causes decay. It causes, your palate to dry out. It causes, sometimes, you can't chew effectively because everything sticks. It's a big problem for older people. And I would say probably 80% of my population has dry mouth.
And see, Doc, a lot of people don't understand. Could you talk about some of the medications or some of the comorbidities that causes dry mouth? One, I could say menopause can cause dry mouth, because I get dry mouth because I'm right smack dab, like right on this side. I have my air blowing, and then I'll turn it off and have the heat on. So I'm just living some type of life. My husband just leaves. So, we right here, we right in the middle. So tell me some sort of, so my guests can have an idea if they have some of these sicknesses or they take some medicines. Could you give us an idea of that?
Well, I know that the diabetic medications cause dry mouth. A lot of the antidepressants, or I maybe could even say most antidepressants, cause dry mouth. There are medications that it's just one of the many side effects. So I would say most medications, that's like the simple side effects. You're lucky if it only causes dry mouth. But I think that the key to longevity is to drink a lot of water and to keep your mouth moist. If you have dry mouth, you have issues. You may have another problem that hasn't been diagnosed if your mouth is dry. So drink a lot of water all day long. I mean, I'm always sipping,
frequent sips, yes.
Yeah, sparkling water. And I really believe in mouth rinses. Before you go to bed, do a mouth rinse. And I think not all toothbrushes not all toothpastes are created equal. And since I don't get paid to endorse anyone's products, I will tell you on your own, investigate some of the toothpaste that you use, because toothpaste can be very abrasive. And as you age, you notice your teeth are getting yellower and yellower, and that's because your enamel's thinning. And if your enamel is thinning, the second part of your tooth, the dentin, is a yellow color. So the thinner your enamel becomes, the yellower your teeth gets. So try to choose a toothpaste with the least abrasiveness. And until someone's paying me to endorse them, which no one is, I would say do your own homework and change your toothpaste, okay? Really be conscious of having a very soft toothbrush and a very soft toothpaste. I'm going to endorse 1 or 2 toothbrushes, though. I really do love the gum, because it has the very hairy tips that really get under the gum line. I don't get paid from gum, but I love this product.
Let's see the name. Show us the backside where the name is so people can see that, Doc.
Well, there is no backside.
Oh, okay. So it's just gum, G-U-M.
G-U-M.
I like that.
I like that. And also, Colgate has now put rubber on almost all of their toothbrushes so that this surface here is rubber. And the reason they call it a tongue scraper. But I will tell you, I worked with Colgate for years and years and years in the think tank. When I was at UPenn, I was there for almost 10 years. And I told them that one of the biggest issues that I had that was worrisome to me as a dentist was that if the caregiver was brushing the teeth and God forbid they bit down, which they do on the toothbrush, that one of the crowns or fillings will crack and now they have half a tooth, and the family will blame the caregiver who's done nothing wrong and say, well, you probably brushed too hard. What do you mean you were brushing their teeth and their tooth broke? So thank you, Colgate. Thank you, Colgate, for doing that.
Now, Doc, let me ask you something. So you go around.
Ask me something, Sonya.
So you go around, you take care of residents, the family members, oral care in their home, feelings
And
extract,
nursing homes. And nursing homes.
and nursing homes.
Two nursing homes.
Even during COVID, you went in for emergency visits
Yeah.
in New York. You're such a hero. And we thank you for that. But you also, Doc, your book is meant for dentists. So if you're a dentist and you're listening to this and you're interested in becoming a house call dentist, this is the book to get. Dr. Alisa, information will be in this below this link where you can hit her link. It'll be an active link so you can contact her and reach out to her, because this is dentistry as we know it can pivot and it can change. So if you're thinking about additional ways to make income, that's a way to do it. But Doc, you just recently, another thing that we have in common, during COVID-19, I lost two uncles, one in Detroit, one in Chicago, and I just lost one of my best friends, which is my cousin, July 6th in Miami, Florida. She was my prayer partner, my best friend. She was only 62 years old, and that took me to my knees to COVID-19. So we lost four family members to COVID-19, but no one as close to me as you have lost. Could you, if you don't mind, could you share your story?
Sure. My mother and father live in Palm Beach County, and I talk to my mother probably 5 to 10 times a day about nothing. Like literally, I'm between patients and I'll call her and I'll say, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Nothing to do."
I love it.
Watching the news, Dad's watching cowboy movies, I'm playing Mahjong. We just got a new card. I think I'm going to be the best Mahjong player when we get back to the game. And then one day she said, she wasn't feeling well. On a Saturday, I made her go and get a COVID test. And she and my father were both positive. And on August 26th, the most healthy woman I've ever met in my entire life. She ate cake all day long, which used to annoy me, but the lesson learned is eat cake.
I love it.
She couldn't fight it anymore. And I lost my mother on August 26th to COVID, 81 years old. Look at this woman. Can you guys see that? Can you see it?
Yes. Oh, I wish I could make it bigger. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Hold on. Nope, I don't want to mess up. I'm going to stop. But we see it. We can see it. Looks good.
She was gorgeous. She was a perfect mother. My dad is the only person I could ask now. He had a temperature for 2 hours. He just had quadruple open heart surgery last July in a hospital as an emergency. We didn't get to choose the doctor. And he used 2 words. He said we were careless and naive. So if I could only beg everybody, whether you're Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Republican, Democrat, we're all in this together. Wear a mask. And if you go on my website in March, I gave out 1,000 masks on the streets with a sign that said, if you are elderly or caring for the elderly, please take a free mask, when there were no masks. And ABC News truck saw me, and there's a story on my website. And
thank you.
From my mommy to die from. I mean, the only thing that makes me happy is that she didn't die from dementia, because I think that's the worst disease in the world. And I don't know how I could ever have dealt with that. But to die at 81 is just, it's beyond. And it's funny, her favorite food was hamburger. And it used to make me crazy. Mom, hamburger. Her last meal was a McDonald's hamburger, because that's the only thing that she could eat. And, I don't really eat meat, but tonight, my husband and I know, I'm not going to cry. My husband and I are going to have a hamburger. It's been a really, 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 really tough couple of weeks for me. And I can only say that we all have to wear a mask. I've been working on COVID patients and I never got it because I wear a mask. So please, everyone, please wear a mask, please. I want to change the subject so I don't cry. I just want to tell you something that's very exciting. I now have a dentist who signed into my network, which means that we help you find patients. I don't share your practice. I don't make a dime from it, but I want you to get patients. So because I'm #1 in the country for keywords and I have such an amazing web guy, I have someone now in Chicago who is terrific, Dr. Joy. And, her.
Oh, I know Joy.
Her name's like Dr. Joy Cares. I think that's the name of her.
Doesn't her last name? Doesn't her last name start with a P?
Yes, it does.
That's my girl. We're both members of Special Care Dentistry. I absolutely love her.
Hi, Joy. You'll get her on next. She'll talk to you next. And
I love Joy.
We have Dr. Rachel Klein, who does Nassau County and Queens, New York, who literally is an angel. This woman is, I mean, I mentored her for a full year, which, in my book, there's a whole first inside cover, not this book, because this is kind of a reject book. It's a big one that I show. This looks like a 3rd grade coloring book. That's not what my book looks like when you get it. But inside, it's all about Rachel and how successful she has become since she joined my network. And she can't keep up. I mean, she's busier than I am. It's a very good neighborhood. And every neighborhood has people that need this type of service. Everyone from Miami Beach to Los Angeles and everyone in between, Toronto, we all can do it. We all need to chip in. God forbid your mother's in the bed and needs a tooth out. What do you do? What do you do?
And with that being said, Doc, that hit the nail right on the head. What will you do? You have to have someone come to her because she cannot get out. And that's so important with Doc. Thank you so much for sharing on our show. You were so transparent. You were so authentic, and we appreciate that. You were vulnerable here today. Thank you so much. One thing I want to ask you, like we ask every guest, can you share just one golden nugget that we can take away with us and treasure it? Because so many great nuggets, so much wisdom, we don't share it. So what can you leave on our show today?
Well, I have to do 2 because
we take 2.
My friends always say that my theme, if they were to choose like what my the saying about me would be, is never a dull moment. So that's #1. And the second one, in memory of my mother, may she rest in peace, is enjoy cake, because you never know when it might be your very last one.
Oh, Doc. Thank you. No, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. God bless you, Doc, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. I love you, Sonya. I love what you do.
I love you
promise
too.
to tell me about the product, because I need a new product. I really do, for all of my patients with dry mouth, because this is something that is so necessary and I need it. Okay.
And I'm going to get, we both all messed up here. I'm going to stop recording. So stay right there.